Hello everyone, and welcome to A Fictional Escapist. Today's video is a book review of The Heart of the Bloodstone by Philinna Wood. I know that I've gone on and on and on about this book, but let's just take this dust jacket off, shall we? It's on my foot. Check out that naked hardback. Is that not the most delightful thing you've ever seen? Anyway, we're going to be reviewing this here today. The Heart of the Bloodstone follows three main characters in what I would classify as adventure, borderline quest fantasy. Avalon, our main protagonist, is set to stage a coup over the Chief of Hydrus's reign. No longer will he put up with the increasing restrictions that are placed on the people of Hydrus. He is over it, he wants to set them free and return them to a way of life and a way of freedom. Basalt is the current chief, and he claims that he's just trying to protect them from the feared Onyx, the one birthstone that could ruin everything as it currently stands. Lucia longs for the life of the Moonstone. She wants to learn more about her birthright, her birthstone, and the art of healing, which is what it's known for. So she plans to escape from the Reign and Hydrus as a whole to go and visit an art who may be able to teach her a little bit more. Spoilers for the next little bit in 3, 2, 1. Suddenly the merchant that was going to take Lucia across to see her aunt turns up, well, not alive, and a face from the past is blamed for the death purely because of the colour of his eyes. That's right. The Stone of the Onyx. Boren has been wrongfully charged, returning to Hydrus after 6 years in exile. Avalon, Lucia, and Boren fight to escape with their lives and to learn the truth of their stones to set the village free. Can I just say before we get into the nitty-gritty of this book how hungry the Heart of the Bloodstone made me? There's a lot of celebration nights and the food that is described just sounds delicious. I had to eat more than once while reading this book because my stomach was growling at the beautiful descriptions that were placed inside. I don't know that a book has ever made me hungry enough to stop reading and go and eat, but Philinna Wood, you have managed to do that. Congratulations. There's a couple of things that I really liked about Philinna's work. The coastal world that we experience in the Heart of the Bloodstone is so picturesque. You've got the oceans, you've got the jungle, you've got mountain ranges, and these living areas are so well described that it does the world justice. It feels like I was in them. I could picture it very easily, which as a visual reader is something I very much appreciate. The standout for me in this book was definitely the prose. It's not overly flowery, but it does feel poetic at times. It was just lovely to read, and it was a nice break for someone who tends to read a lot of darker fantasy to have that sort of almost lyrical prose come out and just make me feel warm and fuzzy. Even when some of the bad stuff was happening, it was just really, really nice prose. And throughout that prose, the author has added some really nice small moments, some intricate details that maybe you might miss on the first time around. Or maybe you pick them up and, like me, have a little smile to yourself. There was one, it's not spoilery, where there's a young child who is interacting with someone who's older, bigger, looks a bit scary, and is a little bit off-put by, this creature that's standing in front of him, and he's like, not really sure how I feel about you. And then this character sort of gains trust with this child, and you see the child open up and, start to trust this person and then get excited about what they're telling him. And it feels quite congruent with, how a child would act. If you've been around children, you've seen it happen where they're like, I don't really know you, but as you talk to them and they get to trust you and they open up and they get excited and they don't stop talking. And it was lovely to have those moments in this book, which felt so real, and I think that the prose did it justice by bringing out some of those smaller moments that can make you just feel warm and tingly. The magic system in this story is also really cool and something else that I quite enjoyed. It's based in the birthstone, which is reflected in the person's eyes, each birthstone giving someone a different sort of ability. The main ones that we touch upon in this story is the Moonstone, which is Lucia, a healing stone, and the Onyx. We do get touches and glimpses of other stones like the Healer and the Tiger's Eye, which are also cool to see, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the magic come to play. We sort of saw more of what could happen towards the end of the book, and I was like, I want more, give me more stones, what can they do? But it's built up quite nicely, and I think it has set itself up well for the next installment. Something that dropped a little bit for me was character development. I feel like the characters don't develop a whole lot from when they begin to when the book ends. That being said, they stay true to the persona that's given to them from the beginning of the book. So even though they don't develop a whole lot, in my opinion, they also don't stray. There's no sort of, oh, why are they doing that? Why are they doing this? They stay true to the characters that they are from the beginning. I also think this is a point which is set to be able to develop in the next book and have character arcs come in after we've been introduced to them, which honestly a lot of first books do. So, not a deal breaker for me, but just beware if you're a character driven reader that they have these personas and they sort of stick to them and you see consistency throughout the book without a whole lot of character growth, but I would say that starts coming into play in the next installment. I will pick the book back up. The Heart of the Bloodstone I ended up giving 4 stars. It's a little bit lighter than what I would normally pick up and what I would normally read, but I think it's a solid debut. I think as someone who's a visual reader and someone who really likes world building, that was a standout to me. The prose was just delightful. And as much as I wanted some more of the magic system, as much as I wanted some more development in the characters, I think what the author has done is set up the next part of the story really well, and I've never had a cliffhanger in so few words. And I was like, oh, you didn't! And now I'm waiting with the rest of the world. Those were my thoughts on The Heart of the Bloodstone by Philinna Wood. Have you picked this one up? Will you pick this one up? Do you love this cover? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.